In this video, we're going to see how to configure your DIRIS MCM meter using the MCM-View software. To download the MCM-View software, go to the Socomec.us website, click on the Resources tab, then Product Softwares, then scroll down to find MCM-View. First, always connect the USB cable to your MCM meter before opening MCM-View. MCM-View opens on the Configuration tab, which represents a front view of your meter and how each load is configured. To configure a load, click on its gear icon. For the first load, we're going to change its name to HVAC. Under load type, we're going to keep this a Y load, so 3P plus N, 3CT. Under CT selector, you can choose from the different Socomec split core or Rogowski coil CTs, or the question mark is if you want to use a third-party 333 millivolt CT, and here you'd have to edit the CT rating manually. But here we're going to choose a 100 amp split core Socomec CT, so we're going to select 100 under rating, and to validate, just click on the CT image. You can also change the voltage reference for each CT. That's typically if there's a phase inversion. Click on OK to validate. Now we're going to do load number 2, so we're going to name this interior lighting. This is also a Y load, so we're going to keep this as 3P plus neutral 3 CTs. Under CT selector, we're also going to choose a split core CT, but this time we're going to choose a 50 amp CT, so we're going to select 50. Just click the image and click OK to validate. We can see the rating change to 50 on load number 2. Load number 3, we're going to name this motor. This is actually a delta load, so we're going to change this to 3P, 3 CTs, no neutral. Under CT selector, we're going to choose a Rogowski coil CT, so we're going to click on the Rogowski image, and we're going to click on OK to validate. We can see the load type icon change to a triangle to reflect delta load, and the CT icon change to reflect the coil. Just click on Write to Meter to send the configuration to the DIRIS MCM meter. For loads that are not used, you can choose to disable them, and you can do this for each load that is not used. What this will do is it'll clean up some of the tabs, some of the measurement tabs, and it'll also prevent the meter from broadcasting data for the loads that are not used. Click on Write to Meter to send the configuration again. If we click on the Real-Time tab, we can see real-time measurements from the DIRIS MCM meter. Green measurements are typically correct, reliable, and measurements that are in yellow are typically unreliable and could potentially mean wiring or configuration errors. We'll see this in a separate video and how the Load Analysis tab can help troubleshoot and correct measurement errors. If we go to the Utility tab, this is where we can configure the communication settings of the DIRIS MCM, so the RS-45 settings and the Ethernet settings, such as the IP address, the subnet, and the mask. If you want to use DHCP or if you want to configure a fixed IP address, things like that. When you're done, just click on Write to Meter to send the communication settings to your DIRIS MCM. The configuration of the DIRIS MCM is now complete. The loads are configured, which means the MCM is reading measurements, and we've also set up the communication settings, so those measurements are accessible from an external SCADA or BMS system.